Right, you're back. Okay, great. Let's get you in, Matthew. Hello, Ron, Leo. Trying to get Matthew in. Okay, we're trying to get Matthew. Can you hear me, Matthew? Right. I need to see you in my live stream. Yeah, I've got you. Right. I need to get you up in my box. Right, got you. Right, let me just, okay. Let me just invite you. Well, you're not showing up, only Ron. Um, hi, Ron. You can come up. Hi, Matthew from America. Oh, Matthew, trying. Hello, Ron. I'm trying to invite Matthew for an interview to join us.
Yeah,
I'm
go
trying
on,
to.
get him in.
I can't bloody get him in. It's not working. I'm
Oh.
trying. Right, let me try again. Matthew, can you hear me? Bloody hell. Right, we'll do another invite. Matthew, I need to see you in my. We need to go live together, Matthew. Do you know how to do it? Or how many followers have you got as a point? How many followers? Matthew, can you hear me? He's in America. Matthew, how many followers do you have? Let me just type it in. Right, I need to know because I need to let him know. He needs 800, doesn't he? He needs. I'm trying to get his promotion on his. He's a preacher in America.
I think
Is
actually, if he's in America, I think they need 1,000. And he says
um.
he hasn't got many, so I don't think you're going to
I
have a
need to
chance.
know. Okay, everyone that comes in my life, try and give him a follow to get his numbers up, then I can invite him in for an interview.
Right.
I can also message you. What I could do,
You know,
Matthew, I can actually talk to you on Telegram some point later. Well, whatever we agree on, and we can do a voice interview, and I can record it on my backup phone, and then I can post it on my channel, and that way I can get you more views as well. So I'm just going to type in how many views do you have, your followers, on your channel, because I know you were live earlier in America preaching. Just see if he's going to respond. Okay, can you put the number in? Okay, right, that's the reason. Okay, you know the Telegram, you checked your message earlier. I haven't checked it yet because it's late in the morning. If you check your Telegram message, work out a time and, between you and me, obviously message me and let me know time, date, roughly. I can interview you. I can record it on my backup phone. Yeah, that's a better idea, isn't it? Yeah. Then I can get that video uploaded to this TikTok channel, and we can get your numbers up that way. Fingers crossed. Yeah. Does that sound a good plan? Because he's a very, very, very talented man. He knows what it's like to be targeted, and his brother with him, brother in faith in Christ. Yeah, yeah, and then I can repost it also on my other YouTube channels I've got as well. So we'll get your numbers up. Because what I could do with the TikTok videos, I can actually download it and repost it up in YouTube. So we can actually share your channel out on TikTok and YouTube as well as the followers I follow on Telegram. If you can hear, okay. All right. So now I'm going to talk to Ron. Hello, my friend.
hello,
How are
Claire.
you?
I was going to say I'm going to be a bit iffy because my phone's getting really low on charge. I've been on for ages. I got banned on my own channel.
Wow.
And,
How did you get
and
banned?
Oh, you're just saying the wrong thing, ain't it? You know.
Ah, right.
Um, no, was it was pretty innocent, but um, it went a bit silly. And then I've just been on another a live chat. I seem to be live chatting all night, and um, it's that ended not for a ban. It's just, people are getting tired. It's getting late. I mean, it's getting late here, isn't it? It's late o'clock.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
was going to say I've only got 2% on my phone, so when it
That's okay, no worries. I was
yeah, I
only
was going
coming
to
by again just to help that lady that was on the other
yeah,
line and
I
she's
follow I
having a really
followed
bad time.
I followed Matt anyway, so we've got one
Cool.
follow.
You got another follower, Matthew, bless you. Anyone coming to my live now is following me, follow Matthew. To preach at the first state football game, okay? Because what he does, he gets people to see if they can offer, well, I don't know, but a small amount to help towards because he's homeless and he doesn't have a job because he's targeted as well. And so he does really well. There's other people in America that helps him out, and I'm just a UK individual that does what I can. Donations, thank you for the word. I can't do much myself, Matthew, because I haven't got much to my name right now. But yeah, TikTok's a good place to reach out for those that can help. We're all in a tough bind, aren't we? So we do what we share knowledge, we share what we can, and we do what we can. Yeah. Yeah, Ron, you know only too well what goes on, don't you? Over in England. So
Yeah, I
we
was going to say I haven't got loads of money. I should have had.
no,
I think the thing about I've been trying to work out how money works, and I think the only way you can make money is take advantage of other people. And I've never done that, and I can't do that, which is probably why I'm poor.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
It
it's just a strange thing. You just take advantage of people. I mean, you can see all the stuff that goes on. Where somebody there's a lot of grifters on here as well. That's another thing.
well, this is it. This is all demonic. In my opinion, because you got genuine people out there in different parts of the world, and us, and you got these top creators are just milking it for greed, and their souls are just lost
Yeah, I was
because
just
all
saying.
they want is people's money.
Yeah, I don't do anything for money. If I do
No, I
go,
don't.
I just say to people, just I'll try and educate. But I'll tell you one thing: I had a terrible night tonight, though. On
Oh,
my
really? What happened?
oh God, if you can believe it, um, because I went on early, right? It attracts young people,
Oh, yes.
not incredibly young people,
But that's a
teenagers.
trap.
Yeah,
That was like a trap.
yeah. And I got a load of people coming in and abusing me, saying I'm a nonce and a paedophile. Can you believe it?
You were being targeted, gaslighted.
Yeah,
That was
yeah. And I,
deliberate.
and I turned around and said to him, I said, no, I'm trying to help young people to find out where they're going or whatever. And the other thing is, I do it out in the open. I've got other people in the chat as well,
Yeah,
older people. And I said to them, was I abusing them? Was I inappropriate? That's the other thing as well.
yeah.
And they were saying no, and I was saying, why are people attacking me for that?
Well,
So
what it is now, everything's being monitored, isn't it? Everything's
Yeah,
being
yeah. I was going to
monitored.
say, I got banned. I mean, I did really well. I think I was on for about 6, 7 hours. Can't believe I spent so long. The phone started to run out, and I put it on charge, and I had another adult in the channel
Yeah,
talk to someone else, and I said, you can moderate and do whatever you do, and well, not moderate. I can't work out moderation yet. I
yeah,
probably will get around to finding out how to do it. I just said, just you talk to him, and I just went off and just commented every now and then. But oh, it's
yeah.
unbelievable.
But
There's so many just I, I can't work out what they are. There's a
well,
lot of angry people out there, and there's a lot of idiots and stupids. I
I'm just
can't.
exactly. It's all by design. I'm just reading that Matthew's comment. Every education's institution. This is not just America; it's worldwide. Is
Yeah,
a social experiment. And I
yeah.
went. He says I went through a doctorate program. Yeah, as a lot of us out there, definitely. And a lot of people know. I don't know if you went on Anonymous Live earlier. Well, Guy actually did. There's another guy who luckily was on the TikTok studio on his computer, and I also was did a video of it as evidence too, and it showed the evidence that whether it's FBI, CIA, MI5, MI6, they were deliberately hacking and recording the actual live. And the guy that was doing actual recording evidence, he actually could hear it at his end happening live. And so I reposted his video up in my channel, and I posted my video up to show that it's going on. This is for anyone that's woken up to any truth subjects. Everything is monitored, and it doesn't matter if you're talking to innocently to like you said, one kids, or you're just joining someone's life.
It's,
Everything
well,
now.
it wasn't kids, it was. I mean, teenagers, I suppose. And the thing is, they come in and they're just silly. I actually worked out how to kick them out tonight,
Good,
because
good, good.
yeah, I was going to say, like when they get a bit silly and you just say, "You're being silly, I'm going to kick you out." And then they start crying in the chat, "Oh, why did you kick me?" And I tell them, "Say, well, you're being silly, aren't you?" But yeah, like most things, everybody is just. I can't work out what people are.
Well, it's a technology. You've got 5G, okay? 5G technology is being used on the brains, the brain hacking, internet. They are being controlled. They don't realize it, a lot of these younger people, unless they're from a family within and I'm not bashing Freemason, don't get me wrong, but if they're raised in that situation or the occult or being raised in care, they're going to have an attitude about them. And if they've had trauma in their life, they well realize until they're adults, older, and they just use the social media as a tool of sometimes peer pressure. So, this is where you do what you can, but sometimes these younger generations see the top creators acting stupidly, in my opinion, and think that's the way to act, behave, chase the money, chase the lifestyle. It's a
Yeah,
bit like these fake celebrities. This is what it's always been about. It doesn't matter what year we're in. It's just what life is like, unfortunately. Now we're waking up, but a lot of these younger generations perhaps may not happen. And if they've taken a certain procedure, if you know what I mean, without saying too many words, um, that might have an impact, might. So I have to be careful what I say on that. But yeah, but at the end of it all, it's 100% spiritual. It doesn't matter what walk of life you come from. Hello,
yeah.
common sense, Kay. How are you?
I was going to say, you know, when you said about the occult, you do know what
Yeah,
occult means, don't you?
yes, I do. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it means
Uh,
hidden.
my fam,
Yeah,
yeah, my family were my late mum, bless her heart. I was raised in it. I was raised all the rituals and all that stuff. I won't go into it all because it's very demonic. But luckily, I got out of it when I was 18. But yeah, my actual blood family is still involved, so I know first-hand knowledge what goes on. So I don't talk about things like that because it's very demonic.
yeah,
I'm not going to give the enemy, the excuse to keep my vibrations low. But they were definitely trying to trigger me earlier.
yeah. I think the other
You
thing as
you
well is, we're sort of, and I'm gonna say this before, because when I was trying to talk to the youngsters, and even people in their 30s, they just don't know what the hell's going on. Like, and I told them and said to them,
I
I said,
don't.
everything, everything is a cult. Everything,
Yeah, yeah.
everything is a
It is. Yeah,
So until you work
totally.
out what it is, you just, well, I just try to say to people, I can't help you, if you can't say it. But yeah,
Yeah, they have to find out themselves the hard way. Sometimes they never find out, and sometimes I wish people don't find out because it's not pleasant when you do find out.
no,
And then
no,
when you do find,
I was going to say when you find out what it's all about, you get really angry,
yeah,
then you
yeah,
get nasty,
yeah,
yeah, and
all
then
in those things.
you go for all the trauma or what it is.
Yeah, yeah,
Even when I
is
was,
that,
when I was younger, I
yeah,
knew something wasn't right, even as a kid. And I'm talking going back to probably 7 or 8, right?
yeah,
I
yeah.
could see that there was something wrong, and I can remember when I was a teenager, and I said to my mother, I said to my mum, I said, "Why is it like this?" And do you know what my mother said to me? It's
What?
always like this.
Oh no, oh my God, no
I
way.
myself, what the hell's going on here?
It's not
So
always, unfortunately, when you look about history, right,
yeah,
and incest and the biblical side, you're literally going back, a long, long time. And then you see how they intermarry, and then you look at the royalty of ancient times intermarrying, and then you look at the so-called bloodlines of the royal family, and then different royalties in different countries. It's always been like that. But you see, with the paganism, Matthew. This is why I want to interview Matthew, because his knowledge, his experiences, and his knowledge were not just in Freemasonry, not just in that particular subject as mentioned. He words it in such a way, and he can present it in such a knowledgeable, straightforward manner that will hit people that may. It's not just preaching like, pushing religion down someone's face. It's not mainstream religion. It's done such a spiritual way. And that man, my goodness me, I've seen all sorts in my time with preachers or religious leaders or people, but the way you can tell by the body language, and I came across him by somebody else, on a different social media platform who was targeted as well. And then I knew somebody else that knew of him, so this is how I got to know Matthew in that way, not personally as like, next door living kind of thing, but but where he's suffered, where he's trying to help humanity give up their shall we say worldly possessions in a way, and get spiritually right within oneself. And that message, the way he does it, And today, well, UK time is today, but yesterday, I think it's still, don't know what time it is now in America. I think it's still yesterday for them in America, the timeline. He was in, is it university, Matthew? With that age group, and the way he does it and the way he approaches it and way he films it is really is so empowering. Excuse me, because you don't get that in England, and you won't be able to, because they block people preaching on the streets. If you have a Bible, if you're silently praying, you know, and if a public servant comes up to you, and they assume that you're praying, you get bloody arrested for that. What the heck? So yeah, people are getting videos about that out in England, and thought this is it should be freedom of expression, speech, but we're not in that anymore, are we?
No.
We're in a yeah, it's all gone. It's all gone now. And this is where anyone like yourself, like me, like loads of different people in Walks of Life have any view of other than the agenda, what's being pushed on the world, we are seen as domestic terrorists, but we haven't done nothing to nobody. And we're on a watch list. I've always been on a watch list. I didn't know about all this till 2018. So that lady, Bubbles, when she come in and so upset, I mean, you have to be careful with triggers as well, because if you get flashbacks or triggers, your mood will go down. And this is what powers that be want. They want you addicted to drink, drugs, and alternative lifestyles, because sometimes people don't know which way to go because their minds are being manipulated. And sometimes environments are being manipulated around them, or they've been lied to, and the pressure now is focusing solution based spiritually, in my opinion.
Claire, do you
Um,
think Claire, do you think we're going to make it?
oh, we will. Pennsylvania, sorry, yeah, Matthew. I do believe it's going to be still a rough ride, in my opinion. We are dealing with falling angel technology. Okay, sodomites. Is that the right word to use in my life? Sodomites? I'm not an expert in this stuff, but that's why I wanted to get Matthew on my live, because the way he explains it will really help to heal. It's not easy, is it? When you get triggers every day, or you get pressures and everyday BS in life, and then you're still going through things, and doesn't matter what age you are, you know, what gets to me when I see when people expose the real issues to do with certain sexual orientations, shall we put it politically correct that way, and young people believe that's the way they want to go. But when people do speak out, well-known podcasters and interviewers, they get ridiculed and pulled
Yeah,
up,
yeah, I
don't
was
they?
going to say, sometimes I'm asked some difficult questions on live, and I say, "Do you want me to get banned?" But yeah,
Yeah.
like you're saying, somebody did ask me tonight how many genders it was, and I did say two. You know,
Try and insinuate that you've been drinking. It's usually
yeah.
the way
I
to
think the
go,
other
isn't
thing
it?
as well, I think I attracted a boy girl thing. Like it
Yeah.
was a girl and turned into a boy, or it was a boy turned. I couldn't work out what it was, and it was getting all upset. And I just turned her and said, why would you cut your bits off? You know,
Yeah.
you crying out loud. I mean, self
There's a
mutilation.
video.
There's
There's a
the
video
other thing as
exposed.
well. I mean, have you ever come across before all this ever happened? A girl I dated, and she had scars all up on her arms. Like real cuts. They were healed, but they were
Unfortunately,
scars.
when they're self-harming.
Yeah, self-harming, right? Well, it's exactly what the transgender movement does, doesn't it? It's a
Yeah.
self-harm thing, and I just can't. You try and say to people, why would you do that? You know, I
Yeah, because
what do you say?
there was, I just repost. I don't load it up as my video just because of the censorship. I just share it, and I don't know when it was, a couple of days ago, and somebody explained it very well why this, um, why this is now happening. It's not nothing new really. It's always been there, isn't it? People like in same sexes, each to their own. Because I've been there, done it, got the t-shirt, seen it all, but not to the extent where we are now.
Oh no, they bundle it on. I don't know why they're accelerating it. Do you think they're frightened? Do you think?
I do believe they just want to get rid of all sexes, so you're just not identified as anything specific, and you're neutral, okay? And so they get rid of. So when the transhumanism comes in full swing with the cyborg, the technology, and then you can't be identified either way. And because you got parts of technology in the human body, and it alters the DNA and genetics. And that's the future for transhumanism, isn't it? So the human, I mean, they've been playing God, playing with God's creation since goodness knows how long. And this is where I want to Matthew up because he can explain it very well. I mean, I know certain things, but not as much on the biblical point, because that's all to do with it. The spiritual aspect with the biblical point, it all is linked together, it's not separate. And when you had Bill Gates in 2005 talking to CIA in a conference, in a meeting, describing how they can edit out the guard gene out of human genetics and DNA and alter it to change your brain function. So you don't have these feelings anymore. But oh my gosh. And it's like, that's on TikTok as well now, because I tried to share it on YouTube and it got banned a
Mm.
long time ago now. But whoever it was, uploaded it to their channel. And I just like, this is what I saw years ago. And I couldn't connect the dots at the time, but now I do.
The dots do connect. The other thing is though is I've got no confidence in Bill Gates whatsoever. I mean, he was
Ah,
used he
right,
was used
right.
he was useless at computers. So you know, it's just like most of these.
Um, so
It's like
thank
most of
you.
the chimps that come along. You know,
Just responding. Yeah, just responding to Matthew. Matthew, yes, can you get David in? Is he around? He's got 1,000 followers.
get David in.
His is also spiritual. Yeah.
I was going to say
Double
if
standards.
it'll
Yeah.
be much more fun than me.
No, you're just as important. Thank you,
You
Sarah.
sure
Bless
now?
your heart. You don't have to give me.
Sure now.
Thank you. Bless your heart. Tomorrow night maybe? Okay, as long as they don't bloody target me later and trigger me with all the BS of the housing situation. Sorry, Ron, I've got loads on my plate.
Yeah, I was
Carry
going to
on,
say,
sorry.
how you doing with the wheelchair? You getting any better or?
Oh no. Do you know anything about wheels? You know the inside rim,
Mm,
part of the rubber. You got the outer part of the rubber of the wheelchair wheel, yeah? Today my friend yesterday now, checked the metal part inside of the rim, and it looks like it's trying to come out with the rubber part, but the screws are all intact, and I don't get that. And I checked the manuals, and it didn't say nothing about it. I don't
right.
know what's going on with that. The wheelchair company has absolutely made sure year to date, the other day's date, that the wheel came off in the first place, faulty repairs. So therefore, unfortunately, that same side of that wheel's gone really, really dark compared to the other side. I'm not an expert in wheelchair wheels and stuff. And long story short, the company agents are denying liability for causing the faulty repairs, um, denying the fault and denying my personal injury. So, and it's like now they say we'd like to do an early yearly check on the wheelchair. And their wording in their documents, the keywords they're trying to imply, my use of the wheelchair. Hold on. They've only had the contract since beginning of this year, or sorry, last year, and I've been using the wheelchair safely since 2010. I've had no issue up until that new company took over, and they began falsifying the repairs, not doing it correctly. So I've
Mm.
been seeking the data on all maintenance reports, report repairs, and all my data they've got of me, to show me the evidence investigation reports. I've got nothing back. So who's at fault? It's obvious them. So when the employer would like to reassess you for a new wheelchair, we can't get the parts. Well, that was wrong. And I found a website in England. Obviously, the company has a contract still to get the NHS funded and can get the same make of the wheelchair parts of my wheelchair. I've sent that beginning of this year about 3 times now to date to the head office and the local office agents, and they're still ignoring it.
Gonna say
Yes,
that they're trying to make life really hard, aren't they?
absolutely impossible. And then you've got my other medical equipment, which is very large. There's 3 pieces of large equipment. I've been chasing it up since a yearly check on my hoist, which if you go into the other guy's chat, he's just had a stroke and he's coming out of hospital today. So yesterday now. So they gave him the wrong bed and he fell out of bloody bed, bless his heart. And he's had a stroke. Yeah, so I've been chasing up my other equipment since I've had cold calling in the mornings. I got a tip off 2020 during the lockdown, but they kept coming in that week 3 times in the mornings. I'm asleep, and then if I'm out taking the rubbish bag out, my neighbours will be nosy like they are, as always, worse now, and say, "Oh, somebody's trying to come into your flat." Blah blah blah. Really? So I get a tip off and I seek clarification to the company local office in my area by email to say, were you agents trying to come to my home in the mornings? Well, it's on records ever since you got the contract to do the servicing of my electrical medical equipment to offer afternoons and a week's notice. So what you doing? Cold calling at 10 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock in the morning, 10:30 in the morning. These are the dates. What's going on? I require full investigation. Did I get response? No. So I went to head office and the governance department and raised a complaint. Did I get response? I will get back to you, automated response.
Yeah.
So we're going into 2021, no response. It's over a year delay now. Sending it recorded post, emails again, and do I get response? No. Here we are to date, no response.
Yeah,
Not one.
I know the feeling, Claire. I'll tell you, last December, now remember we were in August, which is 8 months ago, they come round and did a survey on my flat because I've been living here.
Alexa. Yeah.
I've been
Sorry.
living here sort of 20 years, right? So they wanted to come around, make sure I didn't sell the inside, I think. I keep saying to people, whatever, anyway, I got this Ukrainian young man, and I thought to myself, I thought there was a war and nobody could leave Ukraine. So anyway, that's another story. So this geezer just came round with an iPad and started taking pictures and
A
Uh,
what?
yeah, just taking pictures of flat, make sure that everything was all right. And he said, "Oh, we can get you a new kitchen." I said, "Listen, I don't need a new kitchen. I need a sort of wet room because I'll be 65 this year, right? And I can't get in out the bath." And he said, "Oh well, whatever. You're gonna have to get a letter from your doctor," which I did get. Anyway, so he looks at me fire alarms. Now remember, this is in December, 8 months ago, and he said your fire alarms are out of date. So I said, "Lovely. They still work. They make an awful noise." And then I get a phone call yesterday saying we'll come round to do a repair. So I rang up and I said, "What repair?" And they said, "Oh, to sort the fire alarms out." And I said, "But that was 8 months ago." It's taken them 8 months to get around to sorting the fire alarms out, which I don't really need. I mean, I don't
They
care.
took them all out my building. Every
Yeah,
fire alarm.
I was gonna say they still work. They're noisy bloody things. I mean, I know they do work because I'm famous for setting my oven on fire on Christmas Day when I'm cooking my Christmas dinner. Right? Setting me oven on fire. Yeah, you know, if you want to know anybody who can set their oven on fire while you're cooking the Christmas
Oh
dinner,
God, Ron, I need you to laugh. That's so not
I
good,
was
but
going to
that's
say,
funny.
yeah. And it set both of the fire alarms off. I've got all the windows open. I mean, remember in December the 25th, I've got the front door open. I've got all the windows open because I've got smoke coming out of the oven,
Oh my
right?
God. Are you bloody
And
hell, bless you.
I'm outside and nobody's come outside, say, "Is the place going up?" I mean, I've got somebody living upstairs, right? And you've got neighbours along, either side. Nobody comes out and says, "Is your place on fire?" Not that it was. But I thought to myself, and these fire alarm, I hate that's one of the worst sounds in the world is those fire
Yeah,
alarms going as
yeah.
well.
Do you have your own fire blankets in your
Hammers.
home? Yeah, I've got a smoke
No,
detector.
no, no fire blanket. Got a smoke
Uh,
detector,
I have
but
to have
I'm well
one.
famous. I'll tell you one thing. I'll tell you, if you want to have a Christmas fire, just invite Ron round for dinner.
No, rather not. Fire less. Yeah,
I was
I
going to
don't do
say,
Christmas. I don't do Christmas myself. It's pagan in my. I
yeah,
now know
no,
it's
no.
pagan.
What I use, do you know what I use Christmas for?
You
I,
what?
I use it. I use it for the midwinter feast.
A good idea.
Yeah, what you do is you use it as a midwinter feast, which actually ain't midwinter because winter starts on the 20.
Repair.
Yeah,
Oh,
it starts 21st of
some
December.
sort winter solstice. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But I was going to say I use it as a feast because I mean, even though you say it's a paganism, but that's what people used to do. They used to feast up in the winter. Like all the produce you stored away through the year, and then what you do. But I mean, all I was trying to do is cook a frigging chicken and roast potatoes.
Oh, you could cook for me, but don't burn it.
Well, no, I didn't burn the chicken. It was the roast potatoes. What happened was, uh, I started to drag the roast potatoes out because I thought they were done, and I spilt a bit of the. I actually roasted them in goose fat, right?
Oh, wow.
And the goose fat slipped down, like had a splash, and it set fire to the frigging oven.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I thought, I don't know what I'm going to do here. You know, I've got,
Yeah, thank you. I'm just wanting to say, spell your name, bless you. Is it S? Sorry, I'm just reading a comment. Iyah. Is it pronounced as Sarah? Thank you for your gifts, bless your heart. You don't need to. Just in reference to your previous statement, Roberto. Yeah, yeah, the repairs on my wet room's not done. Since 2017, oh, it's a saga. When you talk, this is what I wanted Matthew on because I'm changing the subject a minute, Ron. These demonic entities and souls of men and women are so real, and certain, I'm saying the word sodomites, a certain individual, I can't say too much because the walls are so thin, they monitor everything we do here and say, got nothing to lose. And the reason why they block it, I've got all these reports confirming that the public servants have failed me. In 2018, when I last had a heart attack and stroke, and then by 2019, I got a report confirming public servants, maladministration in all the adult health social care situation. Then we had the lockdown. And here we are to date. We're now 2023. So I'm going cat and mouse, you know, my documents and saying counterclaiming, work around me, do this, do that. But no, it is now, what they call it in England, building safety issue, right? Only my flat, not the rest of them around here. All the gaslighters and the drug dealers and the perpetrators, and much more goes on. They get in to gut out the flats and somebody moves out, brand new everything, but leave me to it.
yeah,
Singles
yeah, they
me
do
out.
that. Yeah. I was going to say, Claire, I'm going to be
Yeah,
rude.
you gotta
Not,
go for your mobile phone charger.
no, I'm going to be rude. I'm going to ask, how old are you?
I'm in my 30s now.
Yeah. So I
You
was
can
in
never
my
ask a
30s
woman her
again.
age,
Yeah.
Ron. What are you on about?
I was going to say, no,
Oh
I was
no,
going to
I'm
say,
younger than you.
you know, when you said stroke and a heart attack, I've never had one of them. Don't,
Yeah.
I don't,
Oh yeah. Um,
I don't particularly want one.
mine's related. Sorry, go ahead, Ron.
No, I was going to say, I try and rule those.
No, my first one's related to the mine's related to the injuries from the car being run over. So the first, I didn't know I had to bleed in the brain. So the part of the brain's got permanent injury
Right.
from being hit. You know, the car went over my foot, so the body, literally on the back and the spine and the head hits the road, concrete road. They
Ouch.
didn't X-ray my body, the upper part of the spine or the head. I went to specialists in London eventually for that. When the second stroke and they call it minor TA, and so they did all the scans and stuff, and they found um they won't operate because it's too risky where it is. So therefore, if I get too much stress and too much of the BS that goes on, and will trigger up another one on the left side of the body. So the left side of my body is not fully recovered. There's certain parts of body movement. And that it will, hopefully one day with technology, but safe technology, who knows? But then I get all this BS of housing, right? As soon as I'm in hospital, where are you? Blah, blah, blah. I'm on live talking to my son at the time, well, his wife, when they were married in 2017 on Facebook, before they damaged my laptop. And I'm like this, so fine, resting up, feeling queasy. Kara's put me to bed, and I'm talking early evening how is she, how's my granddaughter? And out the blue, suddenly out the blue, I lost a full function of my body, my speech. I couldn't move at all. And the heart attack, I didn't even know I was having a heart attack, but literally, I learnt meditation, only literally more meditation, the key things about breathing, literally weeks before, and that saved my life. If I hadn't been streaming, she wouldn't have called the emergency services out from South England, and they had to smash my door in. There was quite a lot of, from what I was told in an email from my daughter-in-law at the time, had informed me there's a lot of people in my room. They were shouting out the window. I couldn't hear nothing. I could only focus on the breathing. I couldn't move, no arms, nothing to reach for a phone, nothing. And they got in. They had the resuscitation thing going on, and they made loads of mistakes apparently. They ignored the fact I got a wheelchair in the hallway, and all I remember is being lifted onto some kind of trolley, which is a major mission trying to get it in and out of this place, I tell you. And next thing I remember is I'm in and out of consciousness. So I remember being in the ambulance and getting some stuff. Don't know what it was in the ambulance in my mouth. And all I remember coming to on the resuscitation table in the hospital, having all this noise. I could just remember, I couldn't see, I can just remember noise around me, lots of people fussing around me. And I come to properly about 3 days later on a ward, being told that I had a heart attack. The speech didn't come back for days. And yeah, so it's quite a palaver. Eventually, when I did get home, my carers, my friends, our carers, found the screwed up ECG, a scan of my heart, thrown in the bin, and it showed the electric current of my heart was off the charts. So what kind of technology? Now I know how the technology works, how the frequencies works on the human body. I know I was literally targeted to be killed off in 2017, but it didn't work. I'm still here.
Yeah, I was
So
going
that
to
they've
say,
tried so many times.
yeah, that's what I was
Yeah,
going
go
to
on.
say, is that they're trying to kill the old off. You know, they're trying to kill us off before we can get our pension, for what it's worth, which is a pile of cack. But
It's all right, Emma. You take a shit.
yeah, I was going to say, I mean, I should have got my pension this year, but George Osborne and his mate Cameroon decided that they needed to add an extra year to it. And I'm still being ridden by the job centre to get a job, even though I've got osteoarthritis in my knees. And, you know, they ride me like an old donkey in the Grand National. I,
My gosh.
I tell you, I went over yesterday, you know, and get a job, get a job, get a job. I was thinking to myself, well, if I wanted one, I don't think anybody would employ me anyway, especially at my age, and especially with my health conditions. Which is another thing, you know, like, I mean, I actually got signed off with osteoarthritis in my knees, and then I
Wow.
was off for 4 months, and then they changed contracts. You know, when they say, "Oh no, we got to assess you, we got to do a health and assessment," and I got in touch with Jobs and I said, no, I don't want to change a contract. So
Yeah.
I'll just go back to job searching again. Because but they keep trying. But I was going to say when I reach 65, I'm going to have to say to my job coach, because that's the other thing as well. You know, like the job coaches are saying, oh well, we got to show you and tell you how to get a job. As if I don't know how to get a fucking job. You know, for the years I've been kicking around. It's been nearly 50 years since I left school, and they're still.
Wow.
I was going to say, yeah, are you going to chase me right up to the finish line? That seems like what it is.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
um,
Bigger picture. Yeah.
I was going to say I'm very belligerent. I'll tell you one thing. I can be an arsehole. You know, I don't like being.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can be an arsehole. And I'm pretty good with when these thugs turn up at places. Like these costume thugs and that lot. I let them know exactly what's what. You know. All this, oh, do you understand, sir? And say, just go away and play with your badges somewhere else, Curly.
Well,
I hate 'em.
the whole system is rigged, unfortunately. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
Department
yeah,
Workspaces,
yeah,
they're
yeah.
all limited companies. They subcontracts out, and it's like for anyone. I know certain things. I wish I could just name and shame the bloody lot of them,
Yeah,
because
well,
someone faked they had bad legs, right? And he is healthy as anything. Suddenly he gets connected to people I've known for years in the area on a certain way. I can't say too much more than that. And then suddenly he gets into his extreme wealth. And things I know about certain people, I wish I could spill the beans, but I wouldn't be here if I do. And yet then they come over, genuine people like yourselves and me and so many others. And not just in England, is it really? Because I was on a live earlier, someone in America who they were struggling also. Lady was being evicted from her place. She's got a young boy. She's thinking of trying to be a caregiver in that industry over there. And then I was explaining how it works in England. And everything's so bloody messed up. And I said, I'm not trying to be negative or send a bad vibe, but the reality of it all now is that we are all physically trying to practically survive in our personal situations, but we're dealing against people that one agenda. They either want you to work for them in the occult with demonic things, or
yeah,
you are going to be made a life of hell and misery till you're a certain age, unless you look
yeah.
what's been exposed now, Ron. It,
You're,
you
you're
know,
right. You're right about
yeah,
demonic stuff.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, I say when I was on my live chat earlier, I
yeah,
had some geezer on, and he he started going on about something, and then I said to him, because I said something to him, when someone turns it back on you, which is
yes.
which is a sign of narcissism. And
Ish?
yeah, he
Yeah.
is, and I called him out on it, and I shut him up. But
Yeah, yeah, the system's a big optimist, definitely.
yeah, I was going to say, you got to call people out when. I mean, I don't want to be derogatory to female sex, but you know, when you're married to someone who starts doing that to you, you know,
Yeah,
that
I need to change the subject now.
go on
All
then,
right.
right? That's
If you
it.
want to pop in, Sarah, I'll give you an invite. If it is Sarah, if you don't, that's fine. I'll just send you an invite to see what you know about that subject. The alien agenda, the aliens, demons. Yep, definitely. If you want to pop in, if not, that's fine. Okay,
Do
this is my
you know,
take.
do you know another thing is, when they keep saying, "Oh, the aliens are coming," they've been here for a long time.
Yeah. Have you seen my post on that one main video?
I was going to say,
Oh, she's
I
coming. Good, she's
watch,
coming.
yeah, come in.
Welcome. Welcome.
Claire's getting
Hello.
fed up. Claire's,
Welcome. The floor is yours.
I
Hello, how
haven't.
are you?
Hello. How are you guys doing?
Surviving.
I
It's
haven't gone live
lovely.
in so long.
It's nice to meet you.
I know I was listening to your story and it's just I got really emotional because
Oh,
I
bless you.
understand um understand exactly, what can happen when you're a target, especially when you know too much or
Yeah,
you know more than what you're supposed to know. So I totally understand. But speaking of demons, which
yeah,
are the grand deception, the great deception of this new world disorder is the alien agenda, which is, in fact, a demonic agenda. I don't know if you know about CERN and how they have these portals, demonic portals, which the plan is to open up those portals in order to flood the earth with these demons, the so-called aliens, which there are species, actually over 300 species of different demonic entities. Some of them actually mixed of humans and animals and some very complicated stuff. But it's all a deception, and a lot of people are going to fall for it, and they will actually believe that these people or these things are extraterrestrials when in fact, they are from Earth. They existed before we even came here on this planet. Does that make any
yeah.
sense?
It does. It does. Hi, Emma. By the way, I've invited you. Yes, Emma's in. Great. Good. Let's get this discussion going. I'm not going to talk too much. Let you guys do. Ron, meet Emma, meet. So how do you pronounce your name?
Oh,
Is it
it's
Salma?
Hello.
Hello, my
oh,
dear.
Emma is here. Is she from Melbourne, right?
Yeah,
Are you?
yeah,
Are
I'm
you
Melbourne.
both?
Oh, hi. I
Oh,
just followed
lovely.
you.
We got the
Oh, this
girls
is
in,
great.
Ron. Ron, you're outnumbered. We're all
Yeah, I
girls
was
now
going to say,
going up
Oh,
against you.
I'm always outnumbered.
But we're on alien agenda now. Come on, ladies. Tell me what your views are. I'm very intrigued. Lovely to meet
I
you,
was
by the way.
very interested in what Sia was saying. Sorry, how do you say your name?
Yeah, how'd you say your name? Sarah, is it Sam? Yeah, I
Oh,
can't pronounce
Sia.
it, sorry. Sia, Sia. Yeah, we're listening now.
Sia.
Floor's yours.
Yes.
Floor's yours. Please carry on.
Say that. Say that again.
Please carry on. You're talking
Oh,
sense.
sorry. It's delayed. Yeah, my it's like the message, like the audio was delaying, so
Oh,
I was
by
trying
the way,
to
if I get suddenly
catch
cut
it.
off, if I get cut off, it's not me. My internet is monitored. I'll be aware of that, okay?
Okay. Yeah, no problem. But anyway, so some stuff I can't unfortunately talk about yet, because it's been very, very difficult for me.
Okay.
And the reason I started recently to, to just come forward. I mean, I've been banned a few times, but I never actually got to speak about, the heart of the matter, if that makes any
Okay.
sense.
I can add a bit.
Because
Emma, you got anything to add, or do you want me to say anything?
Yeah, no, I'm just listening in. I was getting very interested when she started talking about CERN. I'm
Yeah,
very
okay.
interested in that stuff. Yeah.
so I have okay, um, I've been to Switzerland before. I did not want to. It wasn't a choice, but it was part of an experiment,
Oh,
and
yes.
um, so I did learn a few things there. I mean, not much because, of course, they always make sure you don't remember a lot.
That's right.
But the the most fascinating thing is that the human body is a miracle, is an absolute miracle. They can do all they want, but sometimes your memories will come back.
Yes.
They will come back, and it's a miracle because according to them, I shouldn't have any memories whatsoever later on. But then the memories started to come through, and then I mentioned them, and then it was a big problem.
That's when you get the worst part
So
of things. Yeah.
yeah, if I didn't say anything, I was just gonna be left alone, like
Yeah.
moving on. Um, Project was done, and moving on, and then I said something, and now like they're like, okay, and what else do you remember?
Yes.
So
Uh,
that was not good.
Before we wander around too many much, is is this agenda mostly targeted against women? Because
No. It's
No,
all
no, no,
races,
no, no,
no,
men and
not
women,
necessarily.
individuals,
It's men, women, but right now, at this
kids.
moment, it's children. So
That's
chil-
right.
children are a huge target because
That's right.
they are obviously manufacturing a new species, as you know, and they're
Yeah.
doing it through all these, new technologies and DNA, alternations. So they're coming up
Yeah.
with a new species. So anybody who actually signs up for this, they will no longer be under the human species category
That's
anymore.
right.
That
That's right.
means when shit hits the fan and now you want to protest and ask for your human rights, you can't because you are not human anymore.
Mhm.
So unfortunately, a lot of people are buying into it, and they think that the government wants their best interest. Since when? I mean, since when? Like, it just don't make sense, and it's sad because you can sit there and try to tell people all day long, and they just look at you and they're like, you need to see, a psychiatric, or I had people telling
Yes.
me at work that you need some mental help. You're probably just, imagining you're
Fantasizing.
having
Yeah.
anxiety, and I'm like, I'm having anxiety because of the terrible things I've been through.
Yeah.
That's where my anxiety came from. Since the age of 6 years old, I've been exposed to things that I wasn't supposed to,
Exactly.
and I didn't understand them. And my parents weren't aware of that. So it was very, very disturbing. And as I said, unfortunately and sadly, I can't really go through the details, but
That's right.
it
No,
is
it's
very
too risky.
complex, and they are ahead of the game, like
That's right.
thousands of years ahead of the
Very advanced.
game. It will take a
That's right.
miracle. It'll take a miracle to flip the script right now. It is so sad because, there's one thing that I always, tell my friends or people that I know. If you neglect the reality of the life we live today, in the world we live in today, you're gonna have to deal with the consequences of that, and they're not going to be pleasant.
Exactly.
But but if you are aware of what's going on, and if you don't consent to it, they can't force you into it. So you're still going to be excluded. They will try to bother you, they will try to threaten you, they will try to make your life extremely difficult, but they can't control you more than just causing fear and just annoy you in some way. That's what I learned just recently, is they don't want I mean, it's not that they don't want, but the the target is not the people who have um, an awakened conscience.
Yeah,
They still
yeah,
need actual humans. They still need to preserve some of the previous DNA, which our DNA right now have been altered. So, centuries and centuries ago, same thing happened. So now it's happening again on another level.
yeah. Turning, yeah. It's so many centuries you have to reset and start again. Do you
Exactly.
know? Do you know about the Super Soldiers talk.com website?
I do not think so. No.
Okay. Do you know about there's various projects on that website, by the way, it's not mine. I just found it years ago, and on it I uncovered, because I was, regaining memories myself. So of course I come out of the occult, witnessed a lot of things as a kid, but they try to shut me up, not to speak up. And me, I never quiet. And yeah, you might have guessed by that by now. But no, I soon learned how this so-called demonic world, there is barriers. You're either of the occultism and you practice demonic things in the occult, or you're of the light. So your genetics in the bloodline family, some people are born into the occult and they don't know no different and don't know it's wrong. And and they also, the girls can actually be used as breeders as well for kids for
Yes.
certain reasons. And sometimes even these well-known kids that try to expose what the father made them do a long time ago, and you rightly say, if you speak out about certain situations like this, people that are mindsets are closed, they are not aware that we're living in really like a twilight world where they think it's either black or white, there's no in between, there's no grey areas, and they will look at you like you're psychologically disturbed, and they just strictly been totally oblivious to the real world that's going on around them. Now, I was one of them years ago when I worked in, well, not work, but a mix of well-known people in a different life, and very superficial, very money orientated at the time. And I've seen a lot of stuff over the years, but it wasn't until my late mum passed that I began on that spiritual journey, and then I began learning about certain subjects I thought no is conspiracy. But then I began linking up with other people on different platforms, and I'm thinking, hold on, I've been through that scenario, that situation, and I'm learning from other people. And then I began writing down what I remember and not putting it online, of course. And then I started realizing all these things that's been happening to me over such a period of time. It's not coincidental. It's all a pattern. And then I uncovered, it was about a year ago, I had this ability to see through these non-human entities in souls of individuals and through their eyes. And I can even see it on videos. I know the GCIs, they can do that, but I also can see through in the flesh. So when vulnerable people have turned to drink drugs to hide the pain, whatever they've gone through, they're possessed and the soul's been taken over. But I caught by pure luck a video of this particular entity coming out of this man's body, and it was caught live on CCTV. And that whoever caught it on their camera didn't realise what was going on. I knew what was coming out of that body. Now it sounds strange, but I record my sleep every night because I've learnt a lot about neurosciences, the brain, the interface, the technology, but all this stuff now I know. But I don't say too much about it because, as you can be aware, if you talk too much about what you know, you think you know it all, but I don't. I'm still learning. And it's like, I've got the patterns, I've got the documents, and they began experiment on the human brain. As far as the documents are concerned, it's 1940s. So they began with my mother as a child. They will follow the genetics of the bloodline of the family. So they followed my mother. They did on the female line because we're natural healers, go back in history. So I didn't know this till years later. And they follow my brothers and sisters, but I wouldn't keep doing what my brothers and sisters are still involved in the occult. I got out of it as 18 years of age. In the occult, you don't get out of it. You have to be kept in it because if you spill the beans or talk about it, that's a risk to their well organised they are. So, for example, kids end up in care. Not everyone ends up in that situation. These kids are trying to be breeders. It's a female, especially, at a very young age. And they have kids of kids. They're kids having kids, sort of thing. And
Human kids.
there's one girl, she was used that way, and she lived right opposite me. You see, when I began knowing this and researching and getting the evidence, I saw it firsthand, right opposite me, where I live. And I couldn't speak out. I couldn't make a video. I couldn't do nothing because it's right next door. And then I began watching people moving out. Then these strange characters moving in. They're military trained, by the way, this program. It's military. Now, the short of this, the actual MyLabs for short, one of the biggest project worldwide, which is not always well known, is MyLabs. So it stands for Military Black Operations, and it's all linked. All this military underground bases worldwide is always linked to that project, and it's trillions worth. Now, it's well known in America, not so much in England, and I don't know too much in parts of the world. But when this guy came forward, and a lot of people for so long kept saying they're abducted by UFOs, or they've had experiences with aliens. So I've always been intrigued by that when I was younger anyway. But I didn't think much to it. Now, I
Sorry,
knew about...
Stampede.
Yeah,
What's the name of the project? I'll just want to write that down so I can look into it.
okay. It's M for mother,
MyLabs. M. Yep.
MyLabs. M for mother, capital L, lower
Yep.
I, A, B for butter, and S for sugar, MyLabs.
Okay. All
And
right. Thank you.
I've got every time I go into the website where you've got Survivor, I've got the book. She escaped from it. God knows how she escaped. She lost her daughter still in the project in 2003. But they keep breaking in my home and damaging my laptop and stealing my stuff with the computer. So, but I can find it again because I want to do a video about it where people can go and find the website and read up about it. And it describes, okay, this. When you start seeing, when you're consciously awake after the intrusions during the night, it's a bit like that movie in a way. I describe it as Men in Black. Yeah. And in that movie, if you ever rewatch it, and a different pair of eyes kind of thing, and look at the equipment they use to wipe the memories. yeah, people's memories, the equipment they use, the technology. Well, that's what they do on people that are subjected to these projects. Now, there's been quite a few different names, but in a bigger, the funding, the black budget funding, on that main video you see on my page, the only reason why it's there is to let them know that these military bases have always been existed. Now, he died in the 1990s, Phil died, because he worked in the bases, yeah? And the sophistication, like you just said, with the technology, is not just CERN, it's much very, we're like, how could you put it? Well, we can't really put an age to the advancement technology there is, because they do have ability, you know, Stargate. Ever remember the Stargate shows or the film or TV shows, Stargate, portals, hinting that they can go through an
Or they
object.
tell you in TV shows and movies.
Yeah,
They telegraph everything.
yeah. So, unfortunately, you see, in a way, like how the brain works, you go and watch these kind of programs or films, you say, oh, that's quite good. I've always been in sci-fis anyway. I'm interested in them. And I thought, oh, that's quite interesting. Oh, that's quite cool. But then years later, you find out it's reality. Advancement technology is here. It's been hidden from the public eye. And why the hell, how have they got this hidden for so long? And JF Kennedy and even Junior JF Kennedy, they tried to expose a lot of this information a long time ago and they were killed off for what they tried to warn the public about a long time ago. I mean, this is like 1960s. I was only a kid. And it's like, and then all these years later, you find out everything, what we've ever been taught about in the mainstream society is all being fabricated and covered up. And for those light workers out there, I had no clue what starseed meant. I had no clue about light workers. I had no clue about nothing of this. And it was like I started linking up with getting to know people who were TIs, targeted. What the word is just a word. It's basically people's experiences, and they don't know why they're getting followed, why they're getting stalked, why they're getting set ups, why they think their personal lives are just bad luck scenarios, why they're having kids taken off of them when they haven't done anything, why they've gone through trauma in their life, and it's like a why me kind of scenario. There's never any answers. Suddenly it hits you. Suddenly you jot down the memories. Suddenly you go back on I've always kept a journal. So I'm going back on my journals from such a long time ago, and all the dots connect to where I am now. And I'm thinking, what the heck? So where did it begin in my family? So it was from my mother's side, and as a child. Then it went through my brothers and sisters. But then I tried to break the cycle. I was only 7, 8 at the time, to raise awareness, get help next door for the nurse years and years ago. But then I was shut down. I was only the youngest in the family. And then I just like got caught up in everyday life kind of thing with this occult. So when I got older, I investigated the occult. I won't say which one it was, but when I found out they were heavily involved with Illuminati, how I had to, with who the hell were they? So that's where my research began a long time ago. And my background in the past was in the media and research in the press through a contact I had. So, and history. So I thought, oh my God. So my mother was targeted to join as a cult. She turned to religion, or what happened to her, but it wasn't a religious environment. And then, like, all these things happen for a reason. And I got to know Matthew was in the chat earlier in America through other two people who are TIs, and their experiences, everyone's experiences are similar. And then some people can only focus on the spiritual, some people are focusing on the practical, but it all links together, it's not separate. And what I began realizing is all connected, it goes deeper. And when Phil comes out, I mean, I came across him in the 90s, first of all. And then I didn't think much of David Icke. And I thought it's all conspiracy. And then I thought, oh my God. And then, of course, my old house was built on some dodgy environment, land, whatever. And I just thought, here we are, all these years later, it's come through. So it's come like, it's all turned around, basically. And then I thought, okay, so why have I got the cars following me? Why have I got these, they do it very subtly. They're very military trained. These people moving in, it's called inboxing. These people will move in where you live. So if you rent a house or a flat, they will assume like they're all innocent people, but they're not. It's well orchestrated. Brand new cars, brand new everything. They're paid to monitor you 24 hours a day. Every single little stupid things as well they monitor. Now, when it's meant to be your time to go to sleep, your subconscious, the brain, what I picked up is not just somebody's planted something in your home. You know when these operators have been in your home. You know when they're what they find that you're more psychic when you've had certain things done to you by these hybrids, and how the technology they have, the through the wall technology, the portals technology they have. I mean, this is all like Star Trekky kind of information, but it is all real. It's all sick and all real. And when they come from these different portals into our timelines, into the timeline we're in now, they can see that this world is messed up and they're trying to correct it. But the trouble is, they've chosen kids at a young age. They've been training them at a young age. So as adults, they've got to monitor them throughout the whole life and see how their talents may be used or neutralized, or what they can test to see if they remember their traumas, or if they can trigger their MK Ultras, and if they can activate those memories to do their bidding in their conscious awakened state in this physical presence of this world.
Well,
So when
you can actually notice that they've been trying to kind of like talk about it in one of the TV shows. I don't know if you watched it, Stranger Things. How a project can actually turn into a weapon against them. I don't know if you watched Stranger Things, but if you watched it, you will understand how all these, children that they experiment on sometimes become a threat to them. Do you know what I'm saying? So a lot of times it's the children that were experimented on actually work against the occult. Does that make any sense? Like they're all
yeah,
like rebellious against it. It's almost like they are creating a monster that will, later attack them. They have no idea. It's that saying when, they say, if you play with fire, it is going to burn you.
yeah,
So that's exactly what happens. And they actually portrayed it exactly as it is on that TV show. I was fascinated how it was so on point with, of course, not all the details were there, but I would say 80% of what they do was in that TV show.
We've got another guest. Hello.
Hey,
How are you?
good,
X-Ray?
good.
Yeah. Do share your thoughts, what we're talking about. I'd be interested. Nice. Welcome.
I just joined, so I didn't hear what you guys was talking about. I just heard you talking about like the hybrids or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm interrupted you. Sorry, Sabir. Carry on. We're just listening
Have
to
you
her at the
watched
moment.
the new guest? Have you watched Stranger Things?
I have watched it. I didn't get to watch season 2 because I was just waiting for like I hate like watching a movie that's good and then like having to wait for it to come out. So I like to watch it and then like catch up on it. But I have not.
So, Stranger Things actually was portraying some of the experiments that happened in an era like after World War II, and they were experimenting on children and adults, of course. But the main idea about it is that when they were experimenting on these humans started to become extremely powerful. They almost had superpowers, and
Yeah.
now they started to use them against their parents, like they call them parents. They're not really parents, but they're just like the
Handlers. Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly. So these children became a weapon that wanted to use itself against the predators and all these people
Yeah.
that were experimenting on them. And that was the character of Elle. She was the girl that
Yep,
had
yep, yep. I
superpowers.
remember her. I remember her. Yeah.
So I don't know also if you noticed that after season 4, once season 4 was released, and surprise, surprise, it was actually filmed in Georgia. And what do we know about Georgia? That's where the Guidestones, the Georgia Guidestones, the New World Order
Yeah, yeah.
constitution. Right after it was released, the season 4, one of the stones was bombarded, and it was destroyed. And it was
Yeah.
exactly the one that was written in Russian and Chinese. So I can't even talk. Stranger Things was trying to say a message, and the concept of the upside down world is basically bringing all these demonic entities from under the ground, because that's where they belong. They've never came from the space, but they do have the ability to travel to space in a very high speed. Like these
Yeah.
entities are multidimensional, extra dimensional. They do have this power because of their physical structure allows them to do so. So they're like in and out, in and out, in and out of space. But they did not come from space. They were always here. And
Yeah.
if you know Phil Schneider, he already exposed it, and he was killed for that.
Yeah.
So he was the first one to expose that these so-called aliens,
Yeah,
they
no,
are
I agree with
actually,
everything you're saying. I so agree with, and like just for this example, that I'm gonna let you continue what you had to say. It's like the other day when I came randomly across a video of Antarctica. Like instantly, as soon as I seen it, I felt this energetic field, like in Antarctica. Like I was like, whoa, there is definitely something under there. Like I don't know if anybody else is sensitive to energy, but I am
Yeah.
very sensitive to energy. I can feel it when it shift, the second it shift. So when I seen it, I was like, oh gosh, there is something like very energetic down there.
absolutely.
Yeah. Definitely. They're different races. You got Dracos, reptilians. It's well known for reptilians, I suppose. People say They're not like monsters, I suppose, you might get in kind of sci-fi documentaries or movies. When they always, like you just mentioned, I don't know the show myself, I just don't watch that kind of thing myself because it's too real for me. But what is known as the MyLab Project is like when they finish doing certain things to females, mainly females, the military projects come in, well, the military come in and know that the victims are more psychic when after that happens, and so they come in such a way and wipe the memories, and then they take them in their vans to these military underground bases and do the experiments on them. And it's done in such a way in the technology, I'm still learning myself. And but when the consciously one's awake after that, it not pleasant experience, shall we say, then in the day you start noticing the white vans. You start noticing the white cars. That symbolism for the MyLabs project. You're a victim of the MyLabs project, and you're highly termed as valuable. They've got to keep you on the flight and fright mode when the brain is consciously awake. So they have to do the gang. It's known as gang stalking, and the psyops, the setups, to psychologically
Yes.
keep you on toe. And then when you do think you can try and get a bit of rest, then they use the technology on you. So they'd be doing EMF waves, radiation, DEWS beams into your home, even if you're out. They do it so subtly, but it'd be like pinprick feelings on the skin and the body. They do like targeting the back of the head, because what they're doing on the experimentation technology too is trying to suck it's like soul catching, draining your physical energy. So when you're awake physically, you can't do much because you're just so exhausted all the time. So you still have that determination in your own true nature, and that's your true DNA, human DNA. But when they implant you with advanced non-human technology, and it's so minute, it's much smaller than nanotech, and the future for we're the test subjects for the future humanity on this earth, and the future is transhumanism, and it is like what they did like all those years ago with robotics, cyborgs, type of programs and movies, and turning the human into machine. And the way they want to turn AI into the future is to do with the transhumanism, i.e., to turn AI in more like a human abilities, more like take over the human race. I mean, it sounds really like extreme sci-fi type terminology and movies, but when you watch those kind of movies and rewatch them and look at the technology they're using, who could come up with scripts?
No, yeah. And this is, let me add on top of that, because like the movie I, Robot. But let me on top of that, these are people that been getting visions back in that just, how do you think they get these ideas to put out?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. So I agree with all that. They just like, I said it all the time. I said, nobody just don't come up with random things that's, that's just going to happen or something. No, these are visions they got.
Yes.
These are dreams.
Especially as we grow older, we don't have the same imagination as when we are children. So you can't tell me that it is my imagination, because it is not.
Yeah.
And the reality is that they don't even have to, sometimes they don't have to have you physically present in order for them to experiment. They are doing it, in so many different ways now.
Yeah, you can use
Almost like
frequencies. You
yes,
use HemiSync. You can use vibration, you can
But
use
also
wave.
those entities can have access to you and perform whatever they perform without you having to be in that location if it is complicated for them to,
Yeah.
have you move there physically, to avoid
That's like just like the
any.
other day, like maybe 2 days ago, 3. I literally, literally heard like I'm just gonna say like a spacecraft like hovering. Like that's what it sounded like. It was sounding like something that was like woo 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 like that. And I was like, what is that noise?
In what area?
It was in. I went to go visit my mom, and I was in the kitchen. I was like downstairs. I was sleeping in the living room because I visit her, right? And I'm like literally sleeping, but I'm literally like astral projecting. Like I'm just getting like out of my body, just
This
leaving. And
happened
then like,
in the United States?
yeah, this was in the
Okay.
U.S. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I'm just like, whoa, what is that noise? I was like, I never heard that noise before, and it was like a woo 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 woo, like a just like a spacecraft or something noise.
I have
I
a
was just like, this
question
is
for
weird.
you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Since you live in the US, have you ever noticed the the ground actually vibrating
Yes.
sometimes?
Oh my gosh.
So it's
Oh my
not
god.
just me, right?
No, 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 no. I
Okay.
literally told my partner that like a couple weeks ago. I said, babe. He's like, what? I said, why when I have my headphones in, but I'm not listening to music, I literally feel like the earth is breathing or
It buzzes
vibrating.
like it's
Yeah.
buzzing, and it's so weird, like it feels so bizarre because Earth does not normally do that.
Yes. No, you're not the only one. I feel that
Okay.
too. No,
Okay.
I feel it too.
All right. Yeah. I didn't know if it had to do with the underground tunnels or if it's some sort of manipulation of the layers of the earth crust for.
Yeah, but I don't know because like when I had my awakening, I figured out before my awakening I was always sensitive to energy, but that's why I never knew, right? I just knew like I always get these weird feelings around people like as a kid, but I didn't understand what it was. But
How do you feel about that buzzing, when you feel it on, on
I
your
don't
feet?
I
Like,
feel
do you
like
feel
somebody's like
uncomfortable
watching
or do
me.
you...
I feel
Okay.
like somebody's literally watching me.
Okay.
Wait, for this ground one, correct? Or the one I was
No, the
like, oh,
ground, the
so for the
ground.
ground one, no, it's for the ground one.
Because that's
Um,
really important for me
yeah, for
because
okay,
I asked
so
people and they were like, we can't feel it.
yeah, no, and I think certain people can because for the ground one, it's just like I have my headphones in, but nothing is playing, just the headphones are in, and I just feel something like moving and like vibrating and like it's breathing. I was like, this is not me. This is not my heart. This is not my heart rate. This is not that. This is like, I literally feel the vibration in the ground.
Yeah, that's been going on, and it almost causes my place to actually slightly. It feels like an earthquake is about to happen, but there is no earthquake. It's just
Right.
the ground buzzes to a point, like you feel a
Yes,
slight
it
movement,
buzzes too.
and it's just so strange. I asked my friends, I asked my clients, and they were like, "We never noticed that."
No, yeah, I noticed that.
And it's so
And you noticed
bizarre,
that. So you see, that's what I'm saying. It's like everybody don't notice it.
That's very interesting. Yeah, but
Yeah.
Stranger, I can never say that one for whatever reason. Stranger Things, I hate that TV show in the first place because it just brings so many sad memories. But Stranger Things season 4 is, I won't recommend watching it. If you cannot watch it, please do not. It's very evil. It's bombarded with witchcraft and death spells. So, and a lot of people don't know how to protect themselves from these things.
Oh, I
So
see what
I
you mean.
don't
Like, yeah.
recommend watching season 4. Now, season 1 and 2 and 3 were fine. Season 4 was specifically to put these death, frequencies.
Yeah, I know
And I
exactly.
noticed a lot of deaths around that time when it was released. A lot, the
That's
COVID came back and
crazy.
people were dying. And so I asked my nurses and I say, do you notice any increase in the deaths? And they were like, yes, something is going on. Like the COVID is back. It was very, very strange.
No, yeah, that
Stranger things.
I agree with all that, but not even just like, Stranger Thing, but I specifically would agree with Stranger Things because like, how they
It's
how the show
evil.
is.
It's
But
so
but
evil.
a lot of music do that too. It's like the vibrations of it, like a
Yes.
lot of artists and things like that.
Well,
So
look
like
at
I
Doja
have not
Cat
watched
latest
I only watched
video.
the season one. Yeah, I was started to start two, but I didn't watch the other because me, I always been in. I don't know why. I think it was just encoded into me because even as a kid, a baby, I can remember up to the age of 2. Most people can't remember up to that age, and it's
Hmm.
just like I have very good memory of everything. And it's just like sometimes I be feeling weird here and like I don't belong here. It's just like it's like I don't come from here. You know what I mean? Like,
Interesting. Yeah. Oh, I see what you mean. But yeah, so Stranger Things was filmed in Georgia, so that was
yeah,
a very interesting thing to know, since that is, the land where they had their, constitution
yeah,
displayed for the world to, to take a look at. It's not like they're hiding it. Like these people don't hide what they do. They just
at
tell you
first
in
they
your
used
face.
to, yeah, they used to, but now they're just getting sloppy with it. Like, they don't
Oh
care.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they don't hide it no more. So people who consent, they are going to be big parts of this, reset. And it's their choice, and there's nobody to blame because that's their choice. We all make choices for ourselves. They can't force you if you don't want to be part of it, but they will try to make it so difficult for you to live on this planet on your own
Yeah.
terms. So, which, in my opinion, I'm quite okay with that. I got used to the harassment. I got used to the threats. I got used to the gang stalking, all that stuff. I am past that. I'm like, it's like you get psychologically stronger and stronger and more aggressive. I was not this aggressive before because I had so much fear and I was too scared and
Yeah.
confused. And then I have, my family, my so I try to protect other people. So, you know, I wish I could talk about more. And, I have documents too. I have footage, I have things. But I know that if I ever dare to do so, it'll be the end. And it's not necessary right now. So we can slowly just deliver some, just,
Yeah, and
you know,
and you know what I want to add on top of that is like because my partner is shamanic, but I'm like, babe, there's stuff I know way more than you. Like, and I'm not saying that just to be like cocky. I'm really saying that from like the bottom of my heart. Like, I know stuff that I just know.
yeah, I mean, it's they don't care if you know. They just don't want you. There are specific things, like specific red lines that you shouldn't cross. As long as you don't cross them, it's fine.
No, I don't do none of that. I don't know the red line. I simply just bring people up to higher conscience. That's it.
Exactly.
Love.
That
That's
they don't
all.
care about that. They
Yeah.
don't care. They don't care about that. You can sit there and trying to wake people up all day.
Yeah. Okay.
That
Okay.
is
Okay.
not something they feel threatened by at all because they are already ahead of the game.
Right.
So it don't matter if all people wake up today, it's still going to be so challenging to take down this system.
Yes.
So that's why they don't care. Like you can talk, but then
Yeah.
specific documentation that can be like
Interfere.
a big no. Like that can be
Yeah.
a big no because then you're giving proof to people, or you're showing people proof of something, and
They
now
don't.
it's a
Yeah.
problem. So
Yes, big problem. That's why I get singled out. They're always
yeah,
monitoring me because I do show.
yep,
I have to be careful what I share, but
Hmm.
subtle things at the moment.
right.
Yeah, I know, because it makes you want to, just so everybody know we're like at the same level and understand. But it's like, dang, you can't say certain things here and there. It's like my friend that works for the military. I was like, bro, you don't even gotta tell me nothing. Trust and believe. I know things that you already know, and without you having to
Yes.
tell me, it's like
Yeah.
that. It's like he don't have to tell me nothing. I can either telepathically know, or I just get this information downloaded. I know. And I'm just like, oh, I already know. Like, and that's how I talk to him. I talk to him like code words. I'm like, oh, I already know. I said, I know you can't say this, but I know this, blah, 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 blah.
So I mean, basically psychics know. I mean, they
Yeah.
haven't been taught anything, but they have their own ability to capture a lot of, information from different dimensions.
Yeah.
Or sometimes those information will be handed to them by, other elements of the existence, because we can't just assume that all living beings are evil, or the ones that we can't really see. They're not all evil. Some of
Right,
them are
right.
good, and some of them will try to give you beneficial information sometimes when they know and understand that you are somebody who cares about what's happening on this planet, and you
Yep.
care about keeping this planet safe. Because imagine this war going on underground as well between these species. Some of them want peace and some of them want war, like they want to
So you
dominate.
think that's true? Is like there's another civilization? Well, I know that's true. Like in Antarctica, for example, that just want to be able to come out
Absolutely,
and like be with
absolutely.
us. Like,
They don't want to be with us, but now their choices are becoming more limited and more limited because so much destruction has happened into their
yeah,
environment. That's why they've been trying to experiment in modifying their structure so that they will be able to
Yeah.
actually survive on the surface of Earth. And that
okay.
explains the vaccine as well, because a lot of them carry lots of pathogens that we are not used to. That's why they were trying to prepare humans to be able to interact with them without, dying immediately, for example. We don't know what kind of pathogens these species carry, and each species is different, and they're not all very evil. Some of them are good, and they just want
You've
to
got the
live peacefully.
Pleiadians, yeah.
Yeah, they just want to live peacefully, that's all. And
Yeah. I
sometimes,
don't even know about these species, honestly, guys. I've never even heard about them. I get confused. I don't know nothing about like these like species. Somebody gotta fill me in just quick.
so think
Just quick.
about it like the animal kingdom, for example. And I hate
Right.
to give this as an example because I'm not trying to underestimate their,
Yeah.
existence, but they're just different species with different, different like
Look and
looks, different
okay.
functions, different. Everything is different from each species, from a species to the other. So we can't just say they're all here to destroy this planet. No, but they are going through the same exact thing we are going through. Is that the most evil species of them is the one that's more powerful. So they also feel like they've been oppressed by these reptilians, or let's just call them reptilians, these like evil species they're all about destruction because that's just how
Yeah.
they survive. They survive by destroying, by spilling a lot of blood, by killing. That's how they can maintain their
Mm.
life. But other species function differently. They like, for example, humans' food, just actual food like bread. They can eat bread. They can eat a cookie, for example. They don't necessarily need blood. So they're all different. They all want different things.
Yeah.
But
We've got
unfortunately,
hybrids as well. Yeah. With the hybrids, they take the form of the human form. And with the hybrids, you can tell that, like, you function as a human being, with the flesh. Within their souls is actually, as I said, they can shapeshift. And by the
absolutely.
time, yeah, you can tell the shape shifting once you've got the ability to see how they do it. And you can tell by the structure of their facial structure, and so many wonderful people's got subtle information out there. I mean, I started watching these videos. People slow down and restart them. I know you can fake information with GCI, but I only have the ability to see how they do it with the eyes. I haven't seen them do it yet. The actual full physical form, and I'm not privy to that yet.
Wait, what do you
I'm not.
mean by that? The eyes? Because I got some questions. What do you mean by that?
Okay. Yeah. Well, do you know about cloning technology yet? Have you come across how they
Yes.
do that?
I
There
haven't come
is.
across how they do it, but like we was thinking about getting our dog cloned, so I'm pretty sure it's the same thing.
Well, they can clone the sheep. They can clone anything really now, can't they? But with the human, they've been able to clone the human for a long time. They've been doing that on the underground level basis for a long time,
Yeah.
and yeah, with genetics as well. And it's sick, in my opinion. I don't know how I've been able to do it, but first I had a contact similar to me in America and Discord, and he was sending me links as well. And he's a spiritual man. He's enlightened, and he doesn't know he's a starseed. At the moment, he's focusing on spirituality. So he sent me some links, and I'm investigating. I'm thinking that can't be, that kind of first instinct is like, really. And then I start digging further, and then I stumble across his websites. It's been going on for a long time. So one instant was I was outside a shop, and I don't know what it is. My gut feeling told me to stop. I'm in my wheelchair. I'm getting my food. And then this one girl was on her own, and she wasn't obvious to me on drink or drugs. The eyes can change that too. You have to take that into factor. Now, as I was speaking to her, I didn't give her anything. I just gave her a sandwich and a drink. And then her eyes, the pupils, changed shape right in front of me from natural, meant to be natural shape of a human pupil shape in the middle. And we've all got different colour eyes, meant to. And they slit a slight smaller, but the pupils weren't smaller, like if somebody was heavily on a drug substance. But these slit, and it took me back because it's my first experience to see that in the
Yeah.
flesh. And I don't drink or drug. I don't take any other substances or anything like that. And I wasn't even stressed or anything. And that was like, what the hell did I just see? So of course I put it in the back of my mind, and I'm getting on my own stuff. And it's not weeks later, I come across a YouTube channel that was showing up similar things, and anybody can make a video and fake it. So I'm aware of all that. And then I stumbled across that website, and this is what led me to the journey of learning more. And I came across, in my bio picture is off that website, Super Soldiers Talk. and I began researching their photographs, people's memories, and literally of similar, exactly the similar, well, not exactly, but similar to what I saw in the flesh. They were remembering what they witnessed, what they dealing with, the different races, and they had similar shape in the eyes. And I thought, oh my God, what's going on here? So then again, it's not every day, it's not every week. And then I had the ability again about 2 weeks ago, seeing exactly the same bit in a man. And it's like it's like an unseen energy that draws them to me. If that makes any sense. And
Mm,
he just lost his job. First time on the street, homeless, and lost his partner, you know, and he was
yeah.
really, and somebody kicked his head in and he had damage to his eye. He got kicked out of the hospital for some reason. So I don't know, perhaps I'm in the right place, the right time, who knows. But I think there's something else at play. So I was there, had a bit of change on me, but I stopped. And you got to be careful. A lot of dodgy people about these days. And he was Russian, and he was a taller man, and I knew in him was a shapeshifter. I knew 100% he was, but he couldn't let on to me that he was that way
But
abilities. He might not
can I ask
even
you a
know.
question then? So with those
Yeah.
shapeshifters, are there good ones and are there bad ones?
Yes, you have to be
Okay.
careful.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I have some question to ask you. So go ahead, continue.
Yeah, and so because he only had one eye and the other one was very damaged, and I looked at the shape of his outer body, his height, shape of his head. I looked up instantly. I just knew what to look for. And then, of course, something told me that this was a genuine soul in that body, someone that was lost. Not just because of what he told me, but something just said, well, you need to help this one. So I had 10 quid note on me, discreetly put it in his hand. It suddenly changed. He looked right, it's like he knew my soul, if that makes any sense. And he looked straight at
No,
me,
yeah.
became emotional. He said, you say the words he used, he saved my life. The way
Yeah,
he said it, the way he said it wasn't like an ordinary somebody being grateful.
yeah.
It was a specific way he said it. And when I saw him again, a few weeks later, he healed very quickly. His eye healed very quickly. His whole persona changed to be more positive on the healing mend, if that makes any
Yeah.
sense.
No, it makes all of the sense. 'Cause I do a lot of healing work, and also, and that's why I wanted to ask you because I think me and you was talking before on another panel with somebody, but because you was telling me to be careful, 'cause I was like, wait, my partner had described that to me. I was like, what do you mean? He said, I don't know. He said you have this look. I said, what do you mean this look? He said, when you get angry or upset, you have like this dark stare look. I was like, well, I don't know. It's like don't pee me off, like don't make me mad. But I was like, I don't know what type of look you're talking about. But then like the other day, maybe a week ago, I looked in the bathroom and I looked in my eyes. I was like, oh, this is what he meant. And I literally seen it. I was like, what is this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, whoa, I said my eyes is black, but it's gray, but it's like,
Just hold on a moment. I've just got a warning on my account. Somebody's flagged my account up. On my live warning, permanent ban will be issued if your live does not end within a minute. Now this could be a fake, but guys,
it looks like
it
it,
looks
but
like a
just,
fake
it,
account. We'll just carry
it
on
says
talking
level.
generally for a minute. Just talk
It got
generally
two
for a minute.
followers though, so
Just look around in subject and just talk generally.
yeah, cause we're not even talking about nothing, so it couldn't be the account.
So, what is your favorite ice cream?
I
My
like
husband's
vanilla.
strawberry.
Do you
Vanilla.
like
I mean,
dairy-free ice cream? Have you ever tried
Yeah.
it?
I'm gonna try it.
Yeah.
I like sherbet.
Let me block it. I'm just blocking his account.
It's crazy because I don't really drink like dairy. My
Oh,
body
this
craves
must
what
be
it
some
wants. Mainly fruits, vegetables, and nuts, and grain.
that is weird. That notification, I just saw it.
You see it too.
A permanent ban will.
No, this
You
is
know
somebody
what they're
trolling.
doing.
What?
It's this,
This is
Who's
yeah.
somebody
that?
trolling.
It's
Click on
trolling.
the yeah.
I'm doing
Oh
it. I'm
God,
doing it.
bye. Get a
Yeah, I'm
life.
Right.
just blocking it.
How about go get a life, you know? These people.
They just spam. They don't like us talking at the
They
fact.
want money, basically. Oh, you know,
Right.
we can prevent this from
We wasn't even
happening, you
talking
know?
about nothing. We wasn't breaking the terms of service, so we're good.
No.
I know.
Carry on. You carry on. I'm monitoring
Yeah,
him.
I don't like I don't like dairy, so I prefer non-dairy ice cream.
No, I feel you on that because I don't like dairy either. Like my partner be like, he like wakes up and make a bowl of cereal. I was like, he's like, why? I said, it's just something wrong about me just eating milk from another animal. That milk is not for me. That's for the cows, not for a human. I don't know. I just feel like I just don't feel right. Like I don't know. I feel like human milk. I mean, like milk from a different animal shouldn't be used for humans because it's not what we need. It's what the cow or the animal needs.
But
You know what
makes
I
you
mean?
wonder who actually indoctrinated us into believing that we need that milk
Yeah.
to survive and to be healthy, so we can have strong bones.
Well, you can just take vitamins, and I take
don't know.
plants
Even
vitamins.
vitamins
So
won't help at this point, so
no, it won't. But I mean, the vitamins I take are food grade vitamins, so they're like food. They're food basically.
actual
It's like
food.
yeah, they're actual. Like you don't need to eat nothing with them because they're like artichoke hearts. They're just grounded up artichoke hearts.
I love those.
Like like beets. Grounded up beets or something. Like so, we eat food vitamins. So the vitamins are food in a in a
That's true.
in a pill
So
capsule.
Yeah.
beets are considered superfood. So
Oh
they're
yeah, I
really good
never used to like
nutrients.
it, but now I love them pickled. They are so good. Pickled beets,
You
like
can carry on now with your with the subjects you're talking about. Okay. I'll mute you
okay,
down.
okay. So yeah, so that's what I was saying. So I noticed that's what he said because I went to the bathroom one day and I was angry, and this is when I noticed. I noticed when I'm angry. I went into the bathroom, I looked in there, and I'm like, whoa, these look like wolf's eye. Like they're black, but they got a sparkle of gray in them. And I was like, so this is what he meant by my eyes turn black or something when I get angry. So I don't know. That's why I was asking you, like,
Yeah. Yeah. It's just amazing what you soon uncover and what
Yeah.
kind of social
And like I'd be
reality.
careful now that I've seen it. I was like, oh, okay, like now I have to I have to be careful because if he can see that, other people can see that. Come on.
I do believe there's so much pressure on people that
Yeah.
they, depending on the spirituality and inside them, they don't have the time. They don't take the time to acknowledge the bigger picture and the pressure on everyday survival in people, and you can't just openly talk about these kind of subjects really because everybody's been distracted, and that's by
Exactly.
design.
Exactly. I so agree with that. Sorry, I had to drink some water. My head was hurting. But I so agree with that because it's like I can run across a lot of people on TikTok that literally all of us is the same. And then I could come across one person that's like, oh, this, or that. And I respect everybody's belief. But I don't like when people put their belief on me or when they want me to believe in that because they believe in. I believe in what I want to believe because it works for me and what I see. And I do believe in God. Yes, I believe in God as a life force energy. I believe God in everything. Like look at like this table right here. That's God. This cup I have of water. That's how I view it as everything in one. But like other people like, oh no, you're gonna blah blah blah. Or like my dad, he's Muslim. And like he swear, I'm GAY. So he's like, oh, you're gonna go to hell. You're gonna do all this. I was like, but okay, so I said, so what loving God would send his creation to hell? He couldn't answer the question. I said, so if you can answer a simple question of that, then what do you believe? And don't get me wrong, I watched the movie, was it Malcolm X or something? And I was like, oh, I said, wow. I said, he's like very spiritual like me, but we just don't agree with certain things. But I said it's very similar, like very, very. So
So,
when I,
are
what
you
happened?
trying to say you don't believe in hell?
Oh no. So let me say this. So what is I don't believe in you going to a place where you eternally burn because first off we're energy, so light and energy can't burn, it doesn't
Okay.
die.
Night one,
But I
sisters.
do believe in hell as the void, the blackness.
Um, but my question was always like, what's gonna happen to these evil people when they die?
Right.
Like,
And
like let's say the most notorious criminal,
yeah,
Ted Bundy, for example.
right. So what I learned from just that is God is all loving. Like it doesn't matter what you done or what you did, he's gonna love you regardless or not what happened throughout your life. But what I would say is, like you said, like when somebody pass over, there's a void, and that void
Like
is pure.
timeout. Like your dad.
Yes,
Like your dad loves
yes,
you, but when you mess
yes.
up, it'd be like timeout now. You're gonna be in that room for like
Yeah, so
8 hours.
that's how I view of it like that. Like I had read a lot of NDE stories where I had a near death experience just like last week. I had one, but like I read a lot of others and they're all similar. These are very all similar, and they all said there was just this blackness. They was walking through like this like kind of darkness of like weird people, like don't get me wrong, like like a graveyard but underworld. Let's say that, like the upside down world, like you
Unpleasant.
said, right? But then they said that they looked out to God and like asked for help, and they said they literally seen the light bring them from the darkness to the light. So that's why I said it's the void. It's like if you want to stay there and be there, it's like how spirits and stuff are like haunted people on the astral plane because they're stuck in the void. They want to be in the void. They want to be stuck with the three-dimensional plane. They don't have. I say it like this: people that got snatched out of their body quick, which means they unalived themselves or they got hurt somehow. People that don't know what happened, they just they just they don't know that they're DEAD. Um, they don't know what's on, or like a homicide. They want justice before they cross over. So there's things
Yeah.
like that. But
So what happens, for example, let's say
yeah,
somebody tried killed me, for example, and I don't forgive them. I don't know, like maybe
yeah,
I crossed over and thought I still wanted to be over there, like that was not
yeah.
fair. So how are they gonna deal with that? Like, am I
So
gonna meet this person over
I
there,
could
and
say
what's gonna
these two
happen?
perspective. I could say you can stay on that realm until you find justice. You can even help out to like solve your case, believe it or not. You stay there until you help or you want to find, because it's going to be within your spirit. you're gonna want justice for yourself before you can rest, and eat. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't know the answer to everything, but this is just from my
Your own
experience of near
perspective,
death
yeah.
experience, people. Yeah, yeah. So I feel like when you have that comfort, when you know that you caught this person, your justice has been served, and now you can go and rest and cross over, then I feel like that will happen. Like, I've been to heaven, and it's wonderful. It's not how like a lot of people think it is. It's like a greenery, waterfall, like life is like very beautiful and peaceful. Like, it's not how like a lot of people say it in the Bible or that. And I like, it's not that I don't believe in the Bible. It's like I
It's
interpret
way
the Bible
better.
as a spiritual. So every
Yeah.
time I hear somebody like read a scripture from the Bible, I interpret it as a spiritual translation. You know what I mean?
So you do believe in heaven? You've
Oh
seen
yeah,
it?
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, definitely. Yes, I have.
I believe in heaven and hell. I believe
Yeah,
in
yeah, I do too.
both
I do too.
because for me is more just common sense. I'm not religious by any means, but to me it
Mm.
just makes so much more sense to have heaven and have hell, whatever that hell is. Like, I mean, people portray it as like really lava, really bad, burning. But for me, it's just part of the contrast, concept that the whole
Yeah,
existence is based on. Like, if you look around you, for example, I mean, we have the day, we have the night, we have the fire, we have the water, we have like opposite elements of
yeah,
each thing. So I always thought maybe hell do exist. I just don't know, if it's exactly how it's been described in the
yeah,
religious books, or if it's something that we don't understand, like it's some like soul punishment. It's more like emotional punishment. I don't know,
yeah.
honestly, but
I
I
don't
do
think it's
believe it
like,
exists somehow.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I believe it is this, but I don't believe it's like where some God is gonna just, toss you here and you're just gonna burn and blah blah blah. And that's what we just talking about, right? There's good people and there's bad people, right? It's the same thing.
Right, yeah, yeah. Um, and it's a very interesting uh, conversation when it comes
Yeah,
to
yeah.
hell and heaven. For me, it's always been something I wanted to learn more about. Now, I don't really know so much. As I said, I'm not the most religious person, but
You're all right.
I do know that people talk about heaven, going to heaven or going to hell, and a lot of people had like near death experiences, and you see them
Mm-hmm.
trying to reach out, like,
Yeah.
up high, like they see somebody and they smile, kind of like smile, and just want to reach out to something out there. And it was very fascinating. I was working at a hospice years and years ago, and I've seen it a lot. But I also have seen people who were so frightened and screaming and asking
Yeah.
these people to leave. And it's like we can't see anything, but then you see them like frightened. They're like, "Get them
I can
away
only
from
explain that
me!"
one thing because I do know from ancestral, there are people, when you're dying, there are people on both sides. There's people that's welcoming you, like helping you cross over, and they're
Yeah.
Right,
usually ancestors. And then there's people like you, like that's helping them
normal people.
cross over from the physical plane. So I don't know. I think they just don't know what to expect or or what's going to happen. So I think that's why they probably like panic or something like that.
Yeah,
It's also
probably.
false light. There's also false light. It's like when my son was 7, he got hit
Mm.
by a car, and the way it happened. And at 7 years of age, a child turned around later saying to the mum that describing he's seen his body laying on that table in the hospital, and he's actually has that sensation of floating above and looking down, and it didn't last long. And the way he described it at 7 years of age was remarkable. Now, I wasn't religious at the time that way, so I didn't know much to it, so I had to respond in the only way as a mum I could.
Yeah.
And so, of course, when I know about this subject we're talking about, I know he is, and my daughter, adult daughter, and obviously my grandchildren, older grandchildren, have that genetics in them too. But they don't know they have these abilities. They're not in that awakening mindset yet. And so whether or no they will eventually, who knows? But I know they're using my son to target me, but only because he has a daughter and he has another son with his different partner from a long time ago. And I know my demonic family members have worked the minds, the twist of my daughter's adult mind a long time ago. So I know one day that she will wake up because of the way she is now with her own son and daughter, and the way we're living in the world now. I know they will get there, but I cannot talk about anything like this to them. So with the targeting, with this program, they make you isolated from your own loved ones, and that's a psychological tactics. And they got to do that to test your spiritual, your strength, your abilities to be able to be resilient. And then the psychological tactics they do on top, because you're meant to be emotionally attached to your flesh and blood, and especially your children, right? And your grandchildren, they will do everything they can, use demonic entities to test your abilities and your skills. And what they use, a term in that is like disassociation. So the brain, when you have that skill as a child to disassociate from trauma, and so that will stay for you for life. So they've got to monitor you for life for that ability to do that. And in history, in the past, biblical history, that's what they used to do to treat children, to traumatize them so much in a demonic way. And so they create that ability in their brain. And now, obviously, here we are with technology. A lot of people are not going to ever be waking up to what we're talking about because they're just not, perhaps genetically, being in this timeline to have that ability and perhaps have certain gifts. And they're just, as I said before, they may just be just used as hosts for these entities. And so, yeah, that's what we're up against, really. So it's sad to know, but I know in the longer, bigger picture that my son and daughter eventually, like you're talking about spirituality, I mean, the way I was raised, I find out it's a cult, but it's not a true Christian cult. But they want to use a one world religion for one agenda. And the one agenda is mainly, they call it Luciferian, but that's just a word, Luciferian. And if they can use children and use certain things I can't mention here for a reason, yeah, and they've been doing that for a long time, and because that's got to feed off that. And then they all this UFO business about abducted by UFOs. It's just another word to cover up the true origins, what they're really doing with the technology experiments, and then praise it as that. So it's easier for the public to swallow rather than the real truth. So where it's all now coming to head. And it's like, you never know, we as children, come to light now in our age and our timeline. It's like my birthday this year. The timeline it falls on, the age I am now, the date of birth I was born, and the planetary alignments, it all fits into to what's going on in the bigger picture. So you just
No,
never know.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I just gotta drop down real quick.
Okay, no worries.
Okay, thanks for having me up.
You're welcome. Nice to talk to you.
Have a good night.
So lovely to talk to you now. I've got to get some rest because it's getting late for me in
Yeah,
England.
I know. Me too.
Ron, I think Ron fell asleep, so I dropped you out because I think you did fall asleep listening to the live.
Oh,
That's what people
thank
do.
you. Thank you for
But
inviting me.
do keep in touch because it's lovely to
Yes,
talk to you. Like,
absolutely.
mind your souls. And
Have
for
a
all those
good
that's
night.
popped in, Emma, earlier, thank you for your gifts, by the way.
Emma from Melbourne, I guess.
Yeah,
Is that, yeah, her name was Emma. Yeah, I
yeah,
think so.
yeah, yeah.
All right, well, have a
Wonderful
good
to meet
night.
you.
Nice to
Take
meet
care
you
now. Good
too.
night.
We'll talk
Bye bye.
soon. Bye bye.